Here's the truth. Most video business owners don't fail because of a lack of talent. They fail because the grind isolates them. Every day feels like firefighting, and burnout creeps in faster than they realize. Maybe you're stuck there right now, working late nights, saying yes to every job, and secretly wondering if this business is actually sustainable. That was my client Mark just a few years ago. At 21, he was alone, overwhelmed, and on the edge of burning out. Fast forward 5 years, he's scaled to $500,000 a year plus, bought a second business, and now takes month-long family holidays without stress. Today, I'll share with you how to build a business that grows without burning you out. After working with 178 plus video production companies in the last 8 years, doing $250,000 a year plus, I've seen the same pattern destroy 90% of ambitious owners trying to scale past $500,000. They hit what I call the founder trap, working harder than ever, but feeling more stuck than when they started out at $100K a year. Does it sound familiar? In under 10 minutes, you'll have the exact 3-step system that helped one of my clients go from working until 2 a.m. every night to taking 4-week family holidays, while his business 5x'd in revenue. And later, I'll reveal the single shift that stops 95% of production companies from ever breaking through their current ceiling. Let me guess, you're probably doing more revenue than ever, but somehow working longer hours than when you started. You're the bottleneck in every decision. Every client relationship depends on you personally, and the thought of taking even a week off makes your stomach churn. You started this business for freedom, but now you're more trapped than any employee you've ever met. The irony is, your success is actually what's killing you. Here's what nobody tells you. This isn't a time management problem. It's not about working smarter. The real issue runs much deeper. And once you understand it, everything changes. I want to tell you about Mark. Now, that's not his real name, but he's a real client. When we started working together 5 years ago, he was 21 years old. He was doing about $15,000 a month, working until 2 a.m. regularly, and 3 weeks away from getting married. He was what I call a firefighter entrepreneur, running from crisis to crisis, making reactive decisions, completely isolated because none of his friends understood the specific challenges he was facing. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Mark had the drive, the talent, and even decent revenue, but he was missing the 3 critical systems that separate successful production companies from those that burn out their founders. Last year, Mark's business hit over $500K in revenue. But here's the kicker. He now works fewer hours than when he was only doing $15K a month. And he just took a 4-week family road trip without checking email once. Now, this transformation didn't happen overnight, and it definitely wasn't about hustle culture or grinding harder. System 1, revenue predictability. The first system that changed everything is what I call revenue predictability. Most production companies are essentially gambling addicts. They land a big project, feel great for a month, then panic when it ends because they have no idea where the next one is coming from. Mark's breakthrough came when he stopped chasing random projects and started implementing what we call the pipeline protocol. Instead of hoping clients would call, he built systems that generated qualified leads consistently. But here's where most people get this wrong. They think it's about marketing tactics. It's not. It's about creating what I call systematic scarcity. When you have a predictable pipeline, you can afford to be selective. And when you're selective, you can charge premium rates. Mark implemented this system and within 3 months had tripled his monthly invoicing. Not by working more hours, but by working with better clients who valued his expertise. But none of this matters if you don't have the second system in place, because without it, you'll just create a more expensive prison for yourself. System 2, operational freedom. The second system is operational freedom. The ability for your business to run without you being the bottleneck in every decision. Most production company owners are control freaks. I get it. It's your baby, your reputation on the line. But here's the brutal truth. If you can't take a 2-week holiday without your business falling apart, you don't own a business. You own a very expensive job. Mark was exactly like this. He was answering the emails at midnight, approving every purchase, personally managing every client relationship. The business was completely dependent on him. The breakthrough came when we implemented what I call the systems stack. Documented processes for everything from lead qualification to project delivery. But here's the key. It's not about creating a manual that nobody reads. We built accountability systems, weekly check-ins, and what we call decision frameworks that allowed his team to make the right calls without him. The result? Mark can now take 4-week holidays and his business actually runs better when he's away because the team takes ownership. But even with predictable revenue and operational freedom, most companies still hit a ceiling around the 300 to 400K mark. And that's because they're missing the third and most critical system. System 3, strategic positioning. The third system is what I call strategic positioning. This is what separates 6-figure production companies from 7-figure ones. Most production companies are trapped in what I call the commodity death spiral. They compete on price, take whatever projects come their way, and wonder why they can't charge premium rates. Mark's business transformed when he stopped just being another video production company and became a specialist in live streaming for corporate events. Same skills, same equipment, but completely different positioning. Here's what happened. Instead of competing with every videographer in Adelaide, he became the go-to expert for a specific type of client with a specific problem. His rates doubled overnight, not because he got better at his craft, but because he positioned himself as the obvious choice for his ideal clients. But positioning isn't just about picking a niche. It's about understanding the psychology of premium clients. They don't want the cheapest option. They want the safest option. When you're positioned as a specialist, you become the safe choice. Mark's business went from $180,000 per year to over $500K in 18 months. But more importantly, he went from working 70-hour weeks to having a genuine work-life balance. Here's how these 3 systems work together. Revenue predictability gives you the freedom to be selective. Operational freedom gives you the time to focus on strategy instead of firefighting. Strategic positioning allows you to charge premium rates for specialized expertise. When Mark implemented all 3 systems, something magical happened. His revenue 5x'd, but his stress levels plummeted. He bought a second business, had 2 kids, bought a house, and still works fewer hours than when he was struggling at 15K a month. But here's what I want you to understand. This isn't about Mark being special or having some unique advantage. I've seen this exact transformation with video businesses in healthcare, transport, construction, and many, many more niches. The principles are universal, but the application has to be specific to your industry, your market, and your situation. And that's why generic business advice doesn't work for production companies. Remember that single shift I mentioned earlier? Here it is. Stop thinking like a freelancer who owns equipment and start thinking like a creative CEO who solves problems for your ideal clients. That one mindset changes everything. Look, I know this might feel overwhelming. You're already stretched thin, and the idea of implementing new systems probably feels impossible right now. If you'd like some help figuring this out, then head over to denlennie.com and see if we can help you. But here's the thing. I only work with production companies already doing in excess of 200K a year who are serious about scaling. If you're just starting out or looking for quick fixes, this probably isn't for you. Now, if you're ready to stop trading time for money and build a business that actually gives you freedom, head over to the website, take the next steps. Remember, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. You didn't start this business to become a prisoner to it.